Good God, guys. Good God. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to yet another brand new movie review, and as always, I thank you all so much for stopping by. And I hope you enjoy your stay, because this time around, we're hopping onto Amazon Prime to take a look at their brand new exclusive film, Bliss. This one stars Owen Wilson and Salma Hayek, and Owen Wilson plays a man named Greg. He's an unfulfilled man at the end of his rope, and he meets a mysterious woman named Isabel, played by Salma Hayek, and they both believe they are living in a simulated reality. But when their newfound bliss world begins to bleed into the ugly world, they must decide what's real and where they truly belong. For f***'s sake. After finishing this movie, guys, I'm honestly struggling to come up with any positives that this film possesses. One thing I will say is that I was somewhat looking forward to checking this out. The concept of this movie sounds really cool. I like Owen Wilson and Salma Hayek both quite a bit. I think they're both extremely underrated. I really do respect Owen Wilson a lot for taking this part, and he proves in spurts here that he can do drama. We often forget that a lot of the time. The man is really gifted. It's not like he's just doing Cars movies the rest of his career or anything. And Salma Hayek is Salma Hayek. She brings that same infectious flair we know her for to this film as well. And I would say they play off of each other pretty well. And like I said, the concepts for this film, pretty cool. These science fiction films dealing with multi-universal realms sounds quite a lot like what Marvel is delving into right now. But how do I put this, guys? Bliss, by comparison, is curiously bad. I find it absolutely baffling how much exposition exists within this screenplay. Honestly, it just feels to me like this is an hour and 43 minutes of just pure exposition. It's almost like the dialogue has to explain every possible little detail about this world to us. No ambiguity or trust placed in the viewer whatsoever here. So there's your first red flag. I kind of wish this script trusted its audience at least a little bit more. But even with all the exposition, here's what I especially don't understand. Even with all the exposition here, this entire film still makes absolutely no fucking sense. It establishes two different realms or realities. I mean, if you want to call it two different realities. And the two leads kind of have to convince each other which one they belong in, and they sort of figure it out. But here's the thing. It was really difficult for... Oh my god, guys. Even after finishing this movie, I'm still pondering what was real and what wasn't. I'm dead serious. I still haven't figured it out, and I probably never will. This whole experience watching this film made me feel about as disoriented as Owen Wilson's character was during this entire runtime. Because there was just way too much damn exposition here. My head was absolutely spinning. And I absolutely lost all care by the time that roller rink sequence came on. I don't think this is a spoiler, because I believe that roller rink sequence is in the trailer. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. But it's when these two basically go on a date to this roller skating rink, and they're using their telekinetic powers, I guess, that they get from eating these, like, jewel pills. And that's another thing. Having powers by eating these pills, I mean, I've seen, like, at least one other film this past year that's done this exact same thing. It's a neat concept and all, but... Number one, I've seen it before. And number two, it's the way these characters use those powers in said sequences. I won't get into spoilers, but they just come off so unlikable. So therefore, I wasn't invested in the characters. I certainly wasn't invested in the romance. I wasn't invested in the subplot involving Greg's relationship with his daughter, which feels like it bogged everything down anyway. So it really didn't need to be there. In a sense, I found no interest in anything. My eyes were so damn heavy watching this film. It was a struggle. Maybe part of why that is the color scheme for this film. For like the first half and the final climax, it's a really weird layout. But the color scheme is just filled with very dull, drabby colors. For a film called Bliss, I was expecting a lot more fun colors sprinkled everywhere. And there's a huge emphasis on this dullness to the environment a lot of the time, which I'm sure was a stylistic choice. You know, mainly to help contrast the two realms against each other. But... come on, it could have looked way more appealing than it was. But here's my big thing, guys. I've said this movie was already confusing. And that's partially because it's trying to do way too many different things at once. The first act specifically is bonkers. This is a mild spoiler, but Greg goes into his boss's office and he's fired, basically. And that leads to him accidentally killing his boss by breaking his neck. And you know what's even crazier? Like, that's not even the most bonkers thing that happens to him that day. Like, this guy accidentally commits murder, and it's still all downhill from there. Then once Salma Hayek comes in, it goes from this wild Belko experiment-like office whodunit into this euphoric romance drama with a sprinkle of science fiction. And then, by the ending climax, which is laughably bad, you guessed it, the film once again becomes something extremely different that so much so that it feels like it just ignores everything else that preceded it. And it leads to an ending which, God, guys, again, there's a recurring theme to this film. The ending makes precisely 0 sense. 0! Oh, God, this movie, guys. I think I can sum my feelings all up with this one analogy. When you have a cameo from Bill Nye the Science Guy, who I absolutely adore. I had no clue he was in this film also. Kinda random, the more and more I think about it. But when you have him in here, and he still fails to invest you into the scientific portion, if Bill Nye the Science Guy can't do that for me, I really don't know what else to say, guys. In case you haven't guessed, I think Bliss is bound to be one of the worst films of the year. I'm gonna give it an F. I really hate saying that, guys. I wanted to like this movie so badly. And I love what I do here, guys. I really, really do. But you know how the saying goes. Ignorance is bliss. God, I should have known, because the clue is in the name, guys. This film was way too ignorant for its own good, unfortunately. It just kind of missed some huge opportunities. There was some cool stuff that you could have done with this concept, but ironically enough, by playing it safe, it made the film even more confusing than it needed to be. God, I don't know, guys. This is just my opinion. What did you guys think of Bliss? Do you agree with me? Do you not? I would love to discuss all of these thoughts and then some all down there in the comments. If you guys are enjoying this content, if you guys are looking for a place to continue discussing cinema and all things entertainment, sometimes ranting, as you've seen, I think this channel may be the one for you. So if you guys are new here, or if you haven't already, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can. It would be extremely beneficial to you and to the channel. You beautiful subscribers will in fact be the first ones to know anytime I upload a new video over here. And it's also free. If you guys enjoyed this video also, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up on your way out. That would be extremely helpful as well. And as per, look out for more exciting content hitting this channel very, very soon. Thankfully, I'm gonna have a lot better stuff to talk about this next week. You guys are awesome. Seriously. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the channel up to this point, and thank you all for giving me an outlet to rant for a little bit. I gotta tell you, this video is very cathartic. You guys are the best. With all that being said, back talk, commence.